This makeup artist claims that if you add a white base under your foundation, it'll look like you have a makeup filter on.
Let's try it. Let's start with the primer. I'm going to be using the Makeup Forever Hydra Boost. My inbox is flooded asking me to try this technique, but before we try it, I want to let you know that this is not a new concept. And I'm going to show you why makeup artists do not follow this technique anymore. First reason why this technique is not followed is because the base ingredient of your primer should be the same as the white base and the same as your foundation. Keep that in mind. So which means you're limited in your choice of primers. Hydra Boost is a water-based primer. I'm going to be using my white base as well as foundation, which are both water-based. For base, I'm going to be using the Maroon White base. I'm just going to be applying it with a brush. The next reason why many artists do not prefer this technique is because it may not work on all skin tones. If it is not a true match to your skin tone, it looks patchy, and when you apply it, it may not blend with your skin tone. And for that reason, I have to apply a second layer to even everything out. And for that reason, this performs better on lighter skin tones than deeper skin tones. That brings me to the third reason why many artists do not prefer this technique. It's because you have to layer up, and that might look cakey. You have to wait till this base is completely dry before you use the foundation over this. Otherwise, it can mix with the foundation. A technique like this requires a foundation that's deeper than your skin tone, and today I'm going to be using the House Labs Triclone Skin Tech Foundation in the shade 330. I'm going to dot it to the center of my face and blend it out with a sponge. That gives me two more reasons why this technique is not preferred. You will always need a deeper shade of foundation for this technique, which means if you decide not to use this technique, you will be left with a deeper shade of foundation which you might not be able to use. And another reason is because you're using a deeper foundation over a white base, you'll have to use a sponge as opposed to a brush to blend this out properly, because the bristles of the brush can pull the white base from underneath and mix with the foundation. Whereas with a sponge, you're pressing in the foundation, so it's going to settle on top of your white base. Now, because the base is white and you're applying a deeper shade of foundation over it, it's going to look patchy because they're trying to blend in together and they're two completely different shades. So you might need another layer of foundation to blend everything in, and another reason why artists do not prefer this technique because too much product can look cakey. I did not use anything on my neck because I wanted to show you eventually using a deeper shade of foundation over a white base will match with the next shade. Using the Milani concealer in the shade 145, I'm going to conceal around my eyes. Now, because we've layered up so much, it's very nicely covered up all the discoloration around my mouth, and I don't need any concealer there. I'm going to quickly blend around my eyes with a concealer brush. I'm also going to show you how other products perform over my foundation applied this way. So I'm going to be using the Westman Atelier Contour Stick in Truffle. I'm obviously going to be contouring my face with this, and I'm going to mostly use it around the circumference of my face, also in my cheekbones, jawline, as well as to contour my nose. Once again, if you're going to be using a brush, anytime during this technique, make sure to pat it on your face rather than pulling or tugging because it can disturb the products underneath. I'm using a very soft synthetic brush from Real Techniques. If you prefer, you can also use a sponge. For blush, I'm going to be using Grateful by Rare Beauty, taking it with a dense kabuki brush and applying it to the apples of my cheeks. This is when I felt like the blush part looked different and good over the base. That's because the white base under the foundation reflects light, and when combined with the blush, it gives a beautiful rosy hue on the cheeks. Using the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder, I'm going to lightly set my face. I love the sponge from LH Cosmetics. They make some of the best products. Now comes the true test of using a highlighter. I'm going to be using my collaboration with Ofra Cosmetics in Flash and applying to the highest planes of my face. And that wasn't bad at all. Usually when you apply too many layers or cake up and apply a highlighter over it, that's when you start seeing the texture on your face. And this wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Now let's finish the rest of the face. For my brows, I'm going to be using the Precisely My Brow from Benefit in the shade 4.5, filling in the sparse areas. While filling in my brows, I was looking at my hairline, and I do see a lot of white base settled around my hairline. And that's another thing that you need to be careful with, because once it gets in your hairline, it might be difficult to completely remove it. I'm going to quickly curl my lashes to finish up, and for mascara, I'm going to be using Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Push-Up Lashes. And for lipstick, I'm using my favorite combo. I'm going to quickly line my lips with a brow pencil. For lipstick, I'm going to be using Bestie by Ofra Cosmetics, which is also my collaboration with Ofra. And over that, I'm going to be using the Ofra Lip Plumper in Plump. And here's the finished look. One final point why makeup artists do not prefer this technique is because it's definitely going to give you flashbacks. When you have a white base under your foundation, it's going to reflect so much light, especially when there's flash photography, that sometimes your face will look whitewashed. I hope this was helpful. Make sure to check out all the products that I used in the description box, along with links to my social media. And don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. I love you guys so much, and I will see you soon with a brand new one. Bye, guys.